In 1911, Elias Mercer accepted a post as keeper of the North Point Lighthouse, perched alone on a jagged cliff above the roaring northern sea. The last keeper had vanished. Only his coat and boots remained, neatly folded by the door, as if he undressed before disappearing into the wind. Locals whispered about the light never going out. Even during blackouts or storms, it kept shining, pulsing, like a heartbeat carved into fog. Elias dismissed the stories. He believed in structure, in oil, in physics. He brought extra supplies, charts, and 2 spare lanterns, just in case. The boat left him with a wave and warning: if it starts blinking faster, don't answer the knock. Then it was just sea and silence. Inside, the lighthouse felt colder than outside. Brass pipes groaned without reason. Dust hadn't settled, like someone had just been there, moments ago. The logbook lay open on the desk. The final entry read, "It looked like me." But it wasn't. And it climbed the stairs. Elias chuckled. Superstition. He began his duties, checking the lens, inspecting the generator, and timing the rotation of the ever-turning, ever-watching beam. At night, the sea groaned louder than before. The wind carried voices. Faint, pleading, almost childlike. "Let us in," they whispered. "Let us see." He ignored them. Locked every door. But the next morning, there were wet footprints on the wooden stairs, leading up, not down. He assumed it was rain until he saw the salt crust. The prints led to the light chamber, which was locked from the inside. His keys didn't work. The metal had rusted overnight. Through the small pane, he saw a figure staring into the ocean, unmoving, unbreathing. He spent the day convincing himself it was reflection. A trick of curved glass. But that night, the beam blinked faster. Thump. 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 Then came the knock. Not loud, just 3 slow taps on the iron door. He didn't move. The knock came again, closer. He called out, "Who's there?" No answer. Just a reply tap, mimicking his own heartbeat. Then silence. Then the wind screamed with laughter. He fell asleep in the supply room. At dawn, the logbook had been moved. A new entry read, "It knocked. You listened. Soon you'll open." He decided to leave. But the dock path had vanished. The cliff now stretched into fog forever. The boat never returned that week. In the mirror, his eyes were wrong, grayer, distant. Sometimes, his reflection smiled before he did. Sometimes, it didn't smile at all. He opened the tower hatch. The light chamber door now stood ajar. The lamp burned green, not gold. And the air smelled like brine. He stepped inside. The figure was gone. But his coat, wet and covered in barnacles, hung on the chair. It was his. Under it lay another logbook, older, decayed. Pages were soaked but readable. They wait beneath. They mimic. They ascend during moonless tides. From then on, he kept the light burning manually. He didn't trust the auto gear. Some nights, the beam aimed itself downward, toward the sea. The next storm was unlike any other. Wind tore shingles off the roof. The foghorn failed. But the light kept blinking, now blood red. Water leaked through the walls, though the tower stood high. With every wave crash, he heard names. His name. Over and over. He boarded the stairs, hammering wood into doors. But the nails pulled out by themselves. Tools vanished. Something didn't want him to seal it. He carved symbols from the old book into the floor. They shimmered. But the next day, they were reversed, and he couldn't remember the meanings. A second Elias appeared in the mirror. This one blinked slower. Spoke when he didn't. It mouthed, "Trade." He shattered the glass. The face remained. He stopped writing in the logbook. But new entries kept appearing. Descriptions of his dreams. His fears. Thoughts he never said aloud. Eventually, his voice changed. It echoed before he spoke. One day, it asked, "Why do you resist?" But he hadn't opened his mouth. The light went out once, just once, and something began climbing from the shoreline. He heard it dragging chains and humming a lullaby. When it reached the base of the tower, all the windows frosted over. A single phrase appeared in ice: "Burn the sea, or become it." He climbed to the top, poured oil across the chamber, and lit it. But the flames bent inward, feeding something unseen behind the lens. The light flared back on, brighter than ever. The beam passed over the sea, and the sea stared back. Elias hasn't slept in weeks. He sees eyes in the waves. Sometimes, hands. Sometimes, his own face surfacing, smiling, mouthing, "Let go." His final entry was found years later, scorched into the desk wood: "If the light calls you, don't answer. If you see yourself, run." The tower remains. Still shining. Never off. No keeper ever returns from it. But the door is always open, and the stairs always invite. And the light keeps turning. And watching. And waiting.